understand she couldn't do number one. There is only one number one in the monarchy, and she didn't understand hierarchy. And she thought, because I think Harry is a sort of really decent bloke, but easily influenced. And I think he's found great love with her. Spiteful fury by Meghan. Meghan gets what Meghan wants.
What was spiteful about it?
Well, no, I choose people who don't want to be written about, on the whole, whose lives are shrouded in mystery, and they want to hide their secrets, and I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to know.
Had you hoped your children, Archie and Lilibet, would have had that you think they won't be able to now with this decision?
Well, for a start, the only time that I've come back to the UK is sadly for funerals or court cases.
Not as a big fan of Meghan Markle as it seems, claimed Tom Bower in his
All right, let's set the stage. Everyone loves a royal scandal, but this isn't just gossip. This is a ticking time bomb with a crown on top. Forget the faceless tabloid reporters digging in the trash. We're talking about Tom freaking Bower. A man whose name alone makes billionaires whisper in panic and politicians taste fear on their tongues. This isn't some eager newbie with a notebook. For over 40 years, Bower's been the storm no one can outrun, the biographer who turns powerhouses into rubble. His mantra? No one is untouchable. Just ask Robert Maxwell, who tried to silence him and got annihilated. Or Richard Branson, who waged legal war and lost spectacularly. Conrad Black? Tried the same. Walked away in disgrace. Tom Bower doesn't just write books. He detonates dynasties. And now he's pointing his pen straight at Meghan Markle. In his explosive claims, he drops a bomb. Michelle Obama never actually liked Meghan as much as the world thought. And honestly, nothing, absolutely nothing, will be the same after this. No one, and I mean no one, was ready for what would erupt the moment Tom Bower locked his aim on the most polarizing royal couple of our time. Picture it, a packed television studio, blinding lights, a global audience hanging on every word. Hosts expecting a light royal segment. And then, the air thickens. Tom Bower leans forward, icy calm, his stare slicing straight through the camera. "I don't mind Harry," he says, voice like a gavel striking down. "It's Meghan I'm after." Boom. The room froze. Producers stopped breathing. Twitter didn't just react, it detonated. Within hours, that single clip was everywhere. But this wasn't some fame-hungry hack trying to trend. This was Tom Bower, the man who had wrecked Titans. And now the Sussexes were locked in his crosshairs. This wasn't analysis. This wasn't speculation. This was war. Tom had spent years in the shadows, collecting secrets like ammunition. And now he was about to unleash the most surgically engineered takedown of the Sussex empire the world had ever seen. The same relentless force that had brought down billionaires was now coming for Harry and Meghan with chilling precision. To even begin to grasp the storm gathering above them, you need to understand who Tom Bower truly is. This isn't a gossip peddler scraping blogs. He's a storm in human form. For decades, he's torn through the walls of the rich and powerful without ever blinking. He doesn't lose. He can't. For 25 years, he sharpened his blade at the BBC, learning how to expose secrets like a surgeon carving through lies. But when he stepped into the world of unauthorized biographies, that's when he became the monster the elite whisper about in the dark. Meghan Markle had already been having a rough week. But when Tom Bower enters a story, it stops being rumors and starts becoming history. His method is terrifyingly simple. He finds the insiders, the ones who know everything, and he drags their truths out into the world like evidence in a courtroom. Take Robert Maxwell. The man was so petrified of what Bower had uncovered, he tried to buy entire publishing companies to bury the book. He even broke into Bower's house, hacked his phone, raided his finances. That's not strategy. That's desperation. But Tom? He didn't even flinch. When Maxwell, the outsider, finally hit the shelves, it shattered Maxwell's empire into dust. His sons faced charges, and Tom's legend grew. Then came Richard Branson. He strutted into court thinking his fortune could silence Bower. Instead, he got crushed, lost, paid damages, and watched as Tom kept digging without mercy. And Conrad Black, the newspaper baron who believed himself untouchable. Bauer's investigation didn't just bruise him. It obliterated him. The man went from kingpin to convict. That's the terror of Tom Bauer. It's not just how deep he digs. It's that he never, ever backs down. Lawsuits, smear campaigns, powerful enemies, he stares them all down and walks away clean. And his sources? Not coffee shop whisperers. These are former confidants, ex-advisors, family members who once swore loyalty to the very people he's exposing. They bring documents, audio tapes, messages, receipts never meant to see daylight. So when Tom Bauer turned his unblinking gaze toward Harry and Meghan, everyone in royal circles felt the tremor. This wouldn't be a polite, palace-approved fairy tale. This would be a scorched earth investigation. No filters. No mercy. Because Tom doesn't tell stories. He burns down legacies. And Harry and Meghan? They were about to learn what it's like to stand in the path of a man who never misses. They said they wanted privacy. But then they signed multi-million-dollar deals to tell their story to the entire planet. And that right there was all Tom Bauer needed. No press conferences. No theatrics. Just Tom, a phone, and a contact list sharp enough to cut through empires. He'd used this formula before to bring down moguls. But this time, his targets weren't hiding behind boardrooms. They were living beneath the world's brightest spotlight. And that spotlight was about to turn into a weapon. October 31st, 2022. Good morning, Britain. It was supposed to be a mild segment about Prince Harry's upcoming memoir Spare. But what happened on that set ignited a blaze that scorched royal gossip across the globe. Tom Bauer sat across from Ed Balls and Susanna Reid, unshaken, composed, eyes locked in. The hosts expected polite chatter. What they got was a declaration of war. Ed pushed him gently on the couple's right to tell their truth. Tom leaned in, his words slow, cold, slicing the air. They have the right to go on Oprah. They have the right to write their book. Then his tone sharpened like steel. But they shouldn't have the recognition of being part of the royal family. Not with their titles. And then, without blinking, he fired the shot that stopped the room. I don't mind Harry. It's Meghan I'm after. The oxygen vanished. The hosts froze. The studio fell silent. This wasn't a flippant comment. This was Tom Bauer drawing blood live. Within minutes, social media was on fire. Frame by frame, users dissected the clip. Some called it threatening. Others, emboldened, called it brave. But they all missed the most chilling part. Tom wasn't raging. He was calculating. This was his signature move. Strike publicly. Destroy privately. And when challenged, he didn't flinch. No walk back. No apology. He doubled down, promising his book Revenge would expose what he called lies and hypocrisy. He even rattled off a number like a verdict. 17 alleged inaccuracies in their Oprah interview. This wasn't gossip. It was war strategy. The palace said nothing. No defense. No condemnation. Just that ice-cold silence that, in royal politics, speaks louder than words. Tom heard that silence for exactly what it was, permission. They weren't going to protect Meghan. They were going to let him pull the trigger. When Revenge hit the shelves, it was like someone rolled a live grenade into Harry and Meghan's glittering PR fortress. And Tom? He didn't write a tabloid splash. He built a case file. Every chapter felt like a prosecutor's closing argument, tight, deliberate, lethal. The revelations came pouring like boiling tea. One scene in particular, allegedly Meghan, in a heated confrontation, throwing tea in the air, ripped through the press like wildfire. Bauer painted a chilling portrait, a woman at war with royal protocol, colliding head-on with centuries of polished power. The detail was so surgical, it didn't sound like rumor. It felt like someone had been standing right there in the room. And the contrast cut deep. When the Mail on Sunday published Meghan's private letter to her father, they went to war in court and won. When tabloids printed smaller, softer claims, legal threats flew instantly. But with Tom Bauer, there was no soft landing. No warning shots. Just an open battlefield and a man who never loses. When Tom Bauer's Revenge dropped, the palace's reaction was deafening silence. Not the cool, controlled kind that projects confidence, no. This was the kind that smelled like quiet panic behind locked doors. Royal insiders whispered that saying anything would only feed the fire. The less we say, the better, one source allegedly admitted. But that silence didn't calm the storm. It became the storm. Royal watchers started asking the dangerous question, if Bauer's claims were lies, why not sue? And that hesitation was all it took. The world began to wonder if Bauer wasn't bluffing after all. Buckingham Palace's icy stillness wasn't weakness. It was strategy. In their world, when they want to kill a story, they drown it in counter-narratives. When they wanted to breathe, they simply step aside. And this time, they let Tom swing the sword. And it worked like a perfectly rehearsed play. Media outlets devoured the juiciest lines without fear of royal retaliation. Commentators ripped into Harry and Meghan's story without blinking. Tom Bauer didn't just open a door. He blew it off its hinges, and everyone rushed in. Behind the velvet walls, palace insiders were reportedly thrilled. After years of watching the Sussexes throw grenades at the monarchy, someone else was finally firing back. And the best part? The crown didn't have to lift a finger. The timing couldn't have been more brutal for Harry and Meghan. With their Netflix docuseries and Harry's spare memoir days away from launch, this was supposed to be their redemption arc, their carefully crafted narrative moment. Instead, they were stuck in the mud, swatting away Bauer's allegations, losing control of the story. And Bauer? He wasn't even close to finished. After the book's release, he smiled through interviews like a man with more cards to play. His next move, he hinted, would be even bigger. He claimed Meghan was preparing to drop her own memoir, her truth bomb. Instead of looking nervous, Tom looked thrilled, because he'd already built his arsenal. Years of sources around the Sussex circle, Hollywood insiders, ex-staff, estranged family, all locked and loaded. Then came whispers of his follow-up book, chillingly titled The Archie Deception. If the title alone didn't make the establishment squirm, the subject matter did. He was digging into the most shadowy, unanswered chapter of their story, the secrecy around Archie's birth. No traditional hospital photos. No public appearances. Just silence. For years, speculation swirled. Tom wasn't speculating. He was investigating. And this wasn't a random conspiracy merchant. This was Tom Bauer, the man who had humiliated billionaires. He had documents, witnesses, insiders. And he understood the Sussexes' media strategy too, leak to friendly journalists, control the narrative, own the spotlight. So he built his own counter-network. Sources were ready to drop their version of events in real time, undercutting their story before it could breathe. And here's where it gets devastating. His next strike wasn't aimed at the UK. It was aimed at Hollywood. Because Harry and Meghan's entire empire, the multi-million-dollar deals, the Netflix brand, the streaming partnerships that were already crumbling, depended on their image as victims and truth-tellers. If Tom could fracture that image in the US, their strongest market, it would be catastrophic. This was never just about one couple. This was about an institution older than democracy itself. The monarchy thrives on mystique, on silence. Harry and Meghan's model was the opposite. Expose, monetize, repeat. To Tom Bauer, that wasn't just dangerous, it was an attack on the crown. And in his world, he wasn't just writing a book. He was defending a throne with receipts.